This is the first electric vehicle from Hero MotoCorp. It's called the V1 and it will be sold under Hero's new EV sub-brand called VIDA. The VIDA V1 comes in two variants, the Pro that we have here and the Plus, and the differences between the two models are largely down to the battery capacity. So what you see in this video today will apply to both models. Now, since this is a brand new product, let's start with what you see. The most striking angle on the VIDA V1 is its aggressive looking face with a low mounted LED headlamp, wide bodywork and a fly screen on top. The side profile is all about that large swooping body panel and the unusual split seat design. Things get a little more unusual at the rear where there's a lot of black plastic around the boot area. This is designed to be a modular system where you can either remove the black plastics or the rear seat, but the company says that this functionality will be available at a later date. In its current state, the boot space stands at 26 litres, which isn't segment leading but it is quite good. However, since the boot is split into two sections, you'll only be able to store a small open face helmet in there. From the rider's point of view, the VIDA gets some premium looking switchgear and a 7-inch touchscreen TFT display. The VIDA V1 is a pretty unusual looking scooter, especially at the rear. Now, I have nothing against the design, but it is a pretty polarizing looking design, so some will like it and some won't. What I would like to point out though is that some of the plastics used around here really do need to improve. The issue is mainly in the feel and quality of the plastics, of which there are a lot on this scooter. In some places they were rough, while in other places the panel gaps were quite uneven. The switches themselves look good, but we found that the entire switchgear units would move a little on the handlebar. Now the company tells us that these are pre-production vehicles and that these issues will be sorted out by the time the production vehicles go out to customers. This is something we will look out for when we properly get to review the production spec scooter on the public road. Nevertheless, while the quality does need to improve, the fundamentals seem to be in place when it comes to comfort. The V1 looks like a fairly large scooter in images, and that translates to how you sit on it as well. The floorboard feels very natural, the seat is long and spacious, and the handlebar placement is pretty decent as well. While we only got to ride the V1 on the super smooth test tracks at Hero's sprawling Center for Innovation and Technology, from what I could tell, there seems to be a decent level of compliance in the suspension. We suspect that this scooter should have a nicely absorptive suspension setup on the road. While that will have to wait, what we could tell for sure is that this is a very nice handler and the scooter behaved in a predictable and stable manner without feeling excessively agile or quick steering like some scooters can. The V1 rides on 12-inch wheels at both ends with MRF tires that had more than enough grip in the dry. Ultimately, the limiting factor on the track was the main stand that starts to scrape at high lean angles. Now, this is hardly a real-world problem, and what you can expect is a well-balanced scooter that is fun to ride. The VIDA V1 Pro weighs 125 kilos, which puts it on par with the Ola S1 Pro at the heavier end of the scooter market. But it doesn't feel cumbersome, and like with most EV scooters, there is a reverse function if you need it. The braking capability is also good enough for this level of performance. This is not the sportiest or best handling scooter out there, but it is quite good. And the same thing applies to the performance. Now with a claimed top speed of 80 km per hour, this is not the fastest electric scooter out there, but it is faster than most of them. So overall, I think this level of performance should be more than enough for life in the big city. The air-cooled swing-arm mounted motor produces a peak of 6 kilowatts, and the promised performance is similar to what you'll get with the likes of the Ather 450X. In sport mode, the acceleration between 20 and 50 kph feels quite strong, but the urgency eases off after that. The scooter can hit an indicated top speed of a little above 80 kph, and it showed no signs of thermal distress in the time that we spent with it. The base V1 comes with 3 riding modes, while the V1 Pro gets an additional custom mode that can be set up as per the rider's liking. So this scooter has good performance on offer, but Hero also wants to give you good battery range. The V1 Pro has a 3.94 kWh battery and the V1 Plus has a 3.44 kWh battery. Both those numbers are good, but what really separates the scooter is that battery capacity is split into two units that live under the seat.
These are removable batteries that you can take outside and charge, but each one weighs 11 kilos, so you probably won't want to do that too often.
The Vida scooter can be charged in 3 ways. You can either remove the batteries and charge them outside, or you can charge the scooter directly using the provided home charger. The scooter also supports public fast charging, and while Hero says that it will set up its own network, the V1 can also use Ather's fast charging network.
Hero has decided to position the Vida electric scooter as a very premium product, so they've thrown in a whole bunch of features to try and justify that.
On the scooter itself, you get all LED lighting, fully keyless functionality, cruise control, and follow me home lights. There's also a shielded SOS button on the handlebar that can send out an alert message using the mobile app in case of an emergency. In addition to that, there are a whole bunch of features that will be enabled by the app, but this application wasn't ready for us to try at the moment. Now, while the scooter has officially been launched, as we've seen with most other EVs, deliveries will only begin in a while and in a few cities to start with. Hero says that bookings are now open and that deliveries will begin by December. Sales will start off in Delhi, Bengaluru and Jaipur, with more cities being added at a later stage.
Clearly, this is a very well-equipped scooter, but that still doesn't shake the fact that the pricing is a little uncomfortably high.
The Vida V1 starts at Rs 1.45 lakh ex showroom, and the V1 Pro goes all the way up to 1.59 lakh, and these prices are after the FAME 2 subsidy. That puts the scooter at the very top of the EV scooter market as of this moment. With such ambitiously high pricing, Hero seems to have taken inspiration from the likes of the Ather 450X and the Bajaj Chetak, both of which are doing quite well at the moment despite being priced at a similar point.
The thing is, Heroes have always been positioned as cost-effective, value-for-money options that almost always cost a little less than their competition. The Vida takes a very different approach. This is not only the most expensive e-scooter out in the market at the moment, it also costs about double of what Hero charges for some of its petrol-powered scooters, and I think the company is going to have a hard time with that price. Nevertheless, we will reserve our full judgment for when we get to ride the scooter out on the public road, properly test it, and see what it's like against its rivals.